She's, and we've still got about, I mean, I've had over 50, nearly 60 people join up, but you know what it's like. Some people haven't even joined the Facebook group. And maybe they will, maybe they won't. Their loss. So, home for 2 weeks now. Fantastic, Anne. So let's get going, because I really want you to experience, the first thing I want to say is I really want you to experience what these elements, what these meridians actually feel like. Nice to see you, Tina. I don't, because I can talk to you about theory. You can read theory, you can go on the internet and find all sorts of information. But the best way that you actually really understand what it feels like is to experience it. And this is why I'm setting the tasks a little bit differently, so that you're actually having to feel into your body. Now, I don't know if any of you are hearing this word a lot, but I keep on hearing it about somatics. And somatics, it's, I think from what I understand, is it's about feeling into the body, being more conscious of the physical body as such. And I'm like, but I'm pretty in touch with my physical body. But it made me realize that many people are so much in their head. And Jackie, you'll know this, being a metal type, metals are very much in their head. And also what I will say to you girls is, because I have to say this, because you know how much I love the chakras, and a lot of you done the chakra journeys with me previously, because I've done about 5 or 6 of them over the last few years. You will start to recognize some of these elements are the same as the chakras. So do you recognize, those of you who know a little bit more about the chakras, do you recognize which of the chakras the water element is similar to? Anybody know? I'm going to tell you in a minute. The sacral. Blank. Yeah, it's the sacral, because the sacral chakra is, number one, it's the water element as well, but it's like the inner child. It's like the nurturer. That's it. Yeah, you got it, Anne. And so, no, it's not the third eye, actually, Jackie. It is very much it is more like the sacral chakra. And you'll understand more when you understand this element. And this element is definitely not you, Jackie, because you are a definite metal. Some people I look at and I'm like, ew, what are you? What are you? Nice to see you, Lorna. And some people are so defined in their element. And this is why I want you to look around your family, look around your friends. I came up with somebody else recently who pushes my buttons like, oh my God, she's my dad's partner. And you've heard me. She pushes my buttons and has done for decades. Seriously, really seriously pushes my buttons. And I realized only recently why I did not think about this is because she's a metal. Now, Jackie, I have to be careful because Jackie's a very good friend of mine and she doesn't push my buttons. Jackie's really good for me because she could come up with things that I won't come up with. And this is what you want to look for when we're looking for conducive relationships, especially if you want to work with people. You don't necessarily, thank you for all the hearts, you don't necessarily want to be with the same people because you won't have all the same skills. Yeah. So if Jackie and I do something together, Jackie's got a completely different way of coming across from things. The metal type, and I know we're not really talking about the metals, is they're very detail orientated. They're real thinkers. That's not me. That's not me at all, which is why I can be very triggered by a different type. So the wood and the metal are more alike. The water and the wood, hang on, where are we? The water and the earths are more similar. And the fire is just literally the fire in the middle, okay? It's a different personality type altogether. But this is why this system is so beautiful, because if you are in a team, for example, you need to work out what these people are and who have you got that might be missing, because they could be the missing link that can bring the magic in. Because if we've got all waters in a environment where we're actually trying to get a project off the ground, you're never going to do it. You are seriously, with a load of waters, it's never going to happen. because waters, as you're going to learn and understand more about this evening, are the laid backs. And I'm a little bit of, I have quite a lot of water in me, actually, even though my dominance is really earth, but I really feel that I'm a lot more balanced. And a lot of you will recognize this, that my earth personality used to be far more out of balance because, number one, I would never say no to anybody. Anyone else recognize that? Because there's a lot of earths here. Never say no. And I would be like, through gritted teeth, yes, of course I will. Huh? Why have I done it again? And I would just give and give and give. I'd have no boundaries. And that's a very earth type. And water can be a little bit like this. So just think about this logically. If we go into the logic of this, water has no boundaries generally, unless it's held into a pool or a lake or something that's constricting it. And if it's very constricted, it's stagnant. It's green, it's smelly. Water needs to move. Our energy needs to move, and our energy actually needs to cross over, okay? So I want you to really feel that you need to cross over. This is why exercise is so good for us. Football for kids and these sort of things is so good for kids because it's crossing the midline. And when we're doing that, we're bringing the two hemispheres of the brain back into balance. Why do you think people who are sick in bed, they're like this? And I'm like, holy shit. It's the worst thing because their energy's like, you know, I mean, my dad's just been in hospital for 5 weeks, and I've spent 5 weeks, minus about 6 days, in hospital watching all these people who look a lot worse, thankfully, than my dad was at the end. And they're all like this. The worst thing we could do. They need to move their energy because it becomes stagnant. What happens when we've got stagnant energy? It stops. Nothing happens. It's like a pool of water where everything is just like, ugh. And it gets more stagnant and more green and more slimy and more revolting. So we need to move. So with the water types, they can actually be a little bit like that. They can get all snuggled up in a nice comfy sofa or in their bed with all their fluffy cushions around them and sit there for hours. Does anyone recognize that as a watery sort of person? I can sort of do that, but then I need to get up because I'm actually quite woody as well as my earthy. I need to move. I need to get out. If I'm stressed, I need to move. That's my number one thing. So be aware of how you feel in all areas of your life. And what do you notice with the people around you? Because we will attract people to us that are probably very similar to us. We will attract a lot of earths. I do have a lot of earths in my life. I don't have many fires. I don't really have that many metals, actually, even though my eldest son is a metal, but my God, he used to push my buttons. He knows exactly. And I always rose to the bait. I always just got so triggered. And now I understand it. I don't get so triggered. So therefore, he doesn't push my buttons because he doesn't even try, because I'm not in that energy where he feels he needs to push your buttons. It's almost like, you know, you should be doing something, but you can't help yourself. Yeah. It's just automatic and you know it's not right, but it just feels like you've got to do it. You've got to behave or you've got to say something in that way. And it just doesn't work because at the end of the day, you've got conflict. You've got this going on. Okay. And what we want when we're working with people, when we're living with people, when we're communicating, which is our biggest issue, and this is what this is all about, actually, is communication, whether it's in the verbal way or whether it is in an energetic way, we are communicating. Okay. And we want a win-win situation at all times. And then we're on the same planet. We want to always look for win-win. But most of the time we're looking for a win-lose or a lose-win because we get into our ego and it's like, I gotta be the best. I'm gonna win this because I need to put my point across because I'm the one that's right. You're not right. Yeah. Waters are not good at communicating. They're really, really not good at communicating, especially with a wood. And we're going to be talking about woods on Thursday. What day is it today? Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah, Thursday. And these two are so completely different. They're like chalk and cheese. But they feed each other, okay? Remember on the chart, where is my chart? Got my chart. Water feeds wood, okay? If the water didn't feed the wood, there would be no wood, okay? There'd be no wood. So the water feeds the wood so they can nurture each other this way, but they can be very, very much at conflict because they are so completely different. And you'll learn more about the wood on Thursday and Friday, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So the water types are very much go with the flow, very slow. They're the philosophers. They're known as the philosophers. So they're big thinkers in a different way to the metal. The metal are the thinkers in the sense of the details. They want the details. I mean, Jackie, I have to tell you, I mean, because Jackie is flipping brilliant. You want to know about something, even about Healy or Mag Healy, she'll give you all the details. Where it just goes over my head. I'll just give you the rough idea and I'll give you an analogy or whatever. Jackie will give you all the details. She's brilliant at that. That's very metal. But the difference between the waters is the waters like to think about things. They like to contemplate on things. They like to maybe sit next to the water and just look outside and just look into space and just contemplate, be in the moment. Yeah, does that ring bells with anybody? Can you relate to this? Remember, we are all of these elements. We are all of them. We're 20% of all of these, but we will have one very dominant one and possibly one or two that are coming up the back. As I said, I'm not very fiery and I'm definitely not very metal. So I need to bring more of this energy into me to bring more balance, and I need to bring more fire energy for me to be more balanced. So this is where it's quite interesting when you learn about all of them, because you can then understand, well, actually, yeah, I need to actually calm down some of my energy maybe in the wood to bring it more into harmony, and bring up some of the energy in the water, for example, or the fire, because we're there to help each other. We're a team. And we have all wonderful qualities. Every single element has beautiful qualities. There is no right or wrong. We just are a part of these beautiful qualities, expressing ourselves in just different ways. And this is what the Chinese did thousands of years ago to identify. Yeah, I'll come back to that. I'll put my glasses on in a minute to read that one. To identify how we related to the world in all aspects of life, not just in health. It was all aspects. And so when we look, and you can actually, this is what's also interesting. I was just thinking about this earlier. You can look at different countries actually, and you can see it, different countries are actually quite defined as different elements. For example, Scandinavia are very metal, very simplistic, very tall. And you're on this call, you're Swedish, so you'll relate to this. You know, they like simplicity. They don't like loads of stuff around them and that sort of thing. They're very sort of straight and clean and that sort of thing. I lived in the Philippines for about 7.5 years, and my God, they are a nation of waters. They are always late. Always. It's remarkable how the hell they get anything done. And to get anything done, it takes forever. I remember when I first went there and my ex-husband left, then it took me 5 months to get my mobile phone put into my name. 5 months. I'm talking slow. If you go to a movie, they'll rock up 10, 20 minutes into the movie on their phones. They'll sit down, have a phone call. It is unbelievable. And they hate confrontation. And that's so water. Waters will hide under the duvets. They do not like confrontation. And this is one of the biggest issues when we are with waters and woods, because woods are very, no bullshit here, it's straight in, and they like shake the roots of the waters because they're like, oh my God, what is that? I don't know how to respond. So this is why some relationships, can you see why they just don't work? I mean, when I was in my watery element, and my ex-husband was a very wood, he used to frighten the shit out of me. And I think it was because it reminded me of my father. I think I married my father, actually, because they were both on the same birthday. Talk about marrying your father. I think I did. And they were both the same. So I could never come back with any words at all. I would be just like, shut down. And then about an hour later, I'd be like, but oh, I wish I'd said this and this and this and this. And of course, it's too flipping late by then. I'd be like, right, I'm going to say this tomorrow. Which done and dusted. Woods are done. They've said their bit and they're off. Yeah. Do you get that? Those of you who are wood, and I know there's a few woods in here. So the communication styles are so different. So this is why relationships don't work, but they can work if we know these types, like a lot of other personality systems, and if we understand how we can communicate more effectively. Okay, so we know that the water element has the kidneys and the bladder as the two meridians that are part of this element. Yeah. Yeah, agree, Lorna. So they vibrate, kidneys and the bladder vibrate to the energy and the frequency of the water element. So if we are a water type, our stress response, as we learned yesterday, is to go into anxiety and to fear and to panic and to bloody freeze. Because, you know, water can be everything. Water can be frozen, can be ice, it can be hot, it can be cold, it can be calm, it can be steamy, it can be fiercely rough. You know, it can be all of these different things. But what we want is to be in the calm, flowing state when we're in harmony. We're looking all the time to see how we can get out of being in that place of, like I said last night, the seesaw. I just look at it as a seesaw or a pendulum, whichever you want to think of it. We want to be in the middle of the seesaw, and we go like this. And so we're either too energized, you know, in the water element, or we're not enough and we're in the fear and everything. The water element actually hates being overstressed, overworked, oversexed. And the water element, the kidneys, actually, we'll talk about this tomorrow, hate having medication. That does not do well with the kidneys. Okay, so we really want to know what is going on for us. How can we feel into this element? What do we need to bring ourselves back into harmony? So the kidneys and the bladder are such great ways of understanding more about our personalities, because when we're in balance within the water element, we have got a power of will, a willpower. We've got courage. We've got this tenacity that's just going to go out there. Yeah. And it's so beautiful. When you look at water, you get all sorts of different feelings. You know, water can be very scary, can't it? When it's really rough, it can be very powerful, very, very, very powerful. You know, you fall in it, you could drown in no time whatsoever. And yet it could be beautifully calm on the top. And yet underneath, it could be quite hard. You know, the tide underneath can be really powerfully strong and draw you in. And even though it might look really lovely and smooth, I mean, I've dived in the Philippines. We used to dive a lot, and I was shocked at how strong the tide under the water. And sometimes you just cannot swim against it. You have to go with the flow. And that's what we're doing so often, is we're trying to flow upstream against the power of what is really needed, and that is to go with the flow, turn around. And that can be quite scary when we go with the flow, because we don't necessarily know what is at the end of the river. And that's why sometimes it's easier to try and paddle upstream because you can sort of see maybe the top and you can see there's life over there. So let me try and get there. But maybe you just don't get there because you're working so hard against the flow. And what we always want to do is to be in the flow of energy. Remember, energy needs to cross, it needs to flow. And when you look at water, that's all it's doing all the time. When there's no movement in water, it's dead. It's stagnant. And it's exactly the same with us because we are just energy beings. We are just water beings. So number one, you need to keep drinking your water and drink a lot more of the water. I am wearing my Healy because I've actually got my Healy on. I was feeling a bit tired. I've actually got it on Regeneration. It's a fitness program, actually. Let me just put my glasses on. Fitness and no, it's not. Interesting, Lorna. I did actually have it on mental clarity earlier because I've had to do so much work. It is letting go of control, Rachel. It is absolutely letting go of control. And control comes from fear. When we are in fear, we want to hang on to something. If we're down that rocky, you know, if you've gone is it life rafting? I did it once in where did I do it? It's quite scary there as well. Water rafting, that's what I'm saying. Water rafting, where you are literally going with the flow and you literally do actually go in between the boulders and out. And we did get tipped out. And I was just stunned again at the flow. The undercurrent was so powerful, you could barely swim against it. Whitewater rafting. Thank you, Rachel. That's the one I was looking for. So think about this, feel into what's going on with your water element. Now, I'm just looking at my notes because I've got so many notes here and I want to make sure that I'm giving you all the most important parts. They are all important parts. Now, waters, the other thing with waters, and those of you who are very watery, and this is where I can see with my water constitution as such, waters don't necessarily want to be in the limelight. Yeah, control is an illusion. It is absolutely an illusion, but it's from a state of fear when we think about it. And people who are total control freaks, and I know many of those, they all are coming from a very place of deep fear. They probably have no idea that that is the cause, but it is a deep place of fear. So water, they're not those people like the fires or the woods that want to be out there. They will quite often want to be on the periphery. And believe it or not, I quite like that myself. I quite often will be the one that will be observing on the outside, and I'll just be really looking at what's going on the inner circle. And waters like to do that. They don't necessarily want to put themselves right out into the middle. Because remember, waters don't like confrontation unless they're really in their power. And they're really in their space and they've got an equal amount of energy with all of the elements, especially the wood, that gives them the confidence. If not, if they're out of balance, they'll almost want to sort of hide more, okay? Because they are the yin, you know, they're more yinny than yangy. And they're more receptive. They're more sort of like, yeah, let's just take all this environment in. Let's just see, you know, this flipping rain's getting on my nerves now. I tell you, I feel like today we've gone back into winter and I couldn't get warm. I haven't been able to get warm. Anyway, let me go back. Let me see what else have I not said. Any other questions? Put your questions in and I'm going to go through them all in a minute. So let's just talk a little bit about how waters communicate, because I think this is really, really important that we can actually change this. And the one thing I would say, if you know somebody who's a water, and say, for example, I had a friend of mine when I lived in the Philippines who was Dutch. Oh my God, she used to scare the life out of me because if you don't, actually a little bit, Steffi, you'll understand this being German and in Germany. It's like, no, I say you're going to be here at 7 o'clock. I expect you here at 7 o'clock. Not even 1 minute past 7. And I sometimes would rock up, say 3 minutes past 7, and she would go nuts. Absolutely nuts. The waters, if you want them to get somewhere on time, tell them they need to be there by 6:45, okay? And they'll be there at 7. So they'll rock up on time. That's a nice little thing that you can do to help the water so that you don't go mad when they're not there exactly on time. A bit like the Filipinos. I mean, you need to tell them an hour before they've actually rocked up. So let me just check on my notes because I want to just see what else we've got here. Procrastination, that's another thing. Now, a lot of the elements do procrastinate, but in different ways. And the one things with the water element will procrastinate in the respect of they're just taking their time. You know, they're just taking their time. They don't rush. And it can be really annoying if you are not a water person. If you're a wood person, wood will struggle hugely with a water person procrastinating because wood just likes to do this. Yeah, Lorna, I've got something that I can actually share with you later. I'll share with everybody. So, you know, be aware of the waters. You need to give them extra time. You need to say things like, you know, if you've got a water that maybe works for you in some way or another, maybe you say something like, or they might be one of your children, they might be one of your family or somebody you know very well. You want to say something like, if they're doing a project or if they're doing something for you, want them to do something for you, you could say something like, I need this done. I know you're going to do this, da, 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 da. When do you think you can get it done by? Because if you leave it to them to tell you, they're probably not going to give you a very defined answer. And it might be, yeah, well, I mean, you know, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day or whenever. So you need to hold them accountable. You need to pin them down and just say, whereas a wood, you see, a wood, we'll learn more about the woods in Liver on Thursday. The woods, where you're like, why have you not done it? And get really aggressive because it's like, well, I don't understand why you've not done it. I said I wanted this done then, da, 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 da. Why is it not done? And the water wouldn't even be able to open their mouth to respond because they would be like, ooh, frozen. Yeah. Gosh, I used to do that so much. So we want to say, you know, preempt these things. We want to look ahead and preempt these things. When do you think you can have that project done? When do you think you can do that task? My youngest son, actually, who is 24, nearly 25, he's very watery and he would drive me insane as a younger boy because every night I would say to him, have you got your bag done for school? I mean, how many parents, you know, how many times have we said this? Have you got your bag done? Have you got your bag done? And he was a footballer and a sport, you know, mega sports boy. And every single day he would tell me on the way to school, oh, Mum, I've forgotten this, or I haven't got this. Or he'd ring me later at school, can you bring this? Or can you bring that? He is just like in the moment, never had his bag ready for the next day. I don't think he ever did, no matter how many times I've tried to encourage it. That is just the way he is. It can be very frustrating at times, but you have to just work with them because that's their modus operandus. You know, that's just the way they work. And you can influence on a certain level, and you will find that, you know, let's face it, as parents, we can be the worst. And as your parents may have done the worst as well, because they may have well knocked out your instinctive ways from a very early age by being a very dominant parent and, you know, telling you, you have to do this, do this, do this, do this, when actually it is totally against your natural form. You know, I think we've all gone through that. We've all experienced that. So that can actually really upset the apple cart really later on, because it's like, well, I should do it like this, but it doesn't feel right. So I'm going to do it like this. But then you've got, this is where we get these belief systems from, because back in your head, you've got this message going on here saying, oh, but I should be doing that. And if I don't do that, I'm not good enough. And I failed, and this and that. This is why our belief systems get formed, or how they get formed in many, many ways, from that very early indoctrination from parents and teachers and everybody else around us. So the point of the 5 elements as well is to bring us back to nature, to bring us back into the rhythm of the earth and the rhythm of who we are. To look at that silence, yeah. Now the water, the season is winter, and it is just so perfect because water needs to, and in the winter, you know, we have these cold, dark nights, days even, and we want to snuggle down. That's very watery, and this is when the water can just sit by the nice fire all snuggled up, and then just be looking out on the horrible weather outside and just feel all cozy and snuggy and contemplative and just read and, you know, philosophize and all of this sort of thing. And that's what winter is about. It's about the resting time. You know, the seeds under the earth are resting. Everything has fallen in autumn to rest for the winter before we flourish and we accept that growth. Now, spring, which is wood. We're about to go out of wood in a few weeks' time, but we're in the wood season because it's growth. Okay, can you see how this is just so beautiful when you actually understand it? And we, as humans, I truly know that we have to come back to the rhythm of nature, because then we come back into the rhythm of ourselves instead of this manic 24 hours, 7 day a week, you know, 52 weeks of the year, boom, 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 boom. You know, maybe you take a week off. Oh, whoopee. It's not the way it's meant to be. You know, we're going to go into fire season. Summer is fire. Fire is all about joy and having fun. That's what we want. If this rain stops, we can have more fun. You know, we want that. That's what fire is all about. So doesn't it make sense when we understand more about this and we can actually go back into our own natural rhythm, come back down into basics? And this is why I really want you to feel into these elements. What time are we on? 36. So I'm not going to talk anymore for a minute because we've got to do the frequencies. I'm looking at my phone. It's there, isn't it? I've got my other phone here. So does this all make sense, girls? Because I don't think any of the guys are on here at the moment. I'm going to say guys. So what we're going to do is I am going to just do the frequencies here. Let's just scan the frequencies of the meridians. And I've set our group up already. And let's just see. Let me just tune into this and let's just see what comes up tomorrow. I'm going to see what comes up today, but tomorrow we're going to be doing kidneys and we're going to just be working with the kidney meridian, or the bladder. Might do two, we'll see. But I want you to experience this because I want you to experience what this actually feels like. And I know last night quite a lot of you had some really nice feelings of calm, etc., after doing this. Okay, meridians. So I wanted you to take a breath. How would you like to feel in your water element? What, you know, what does it mean to be in flow? What does it mean to be in your power? Think of the courageous, the dynamic water person. And I want you just to take a breath and just feel into that person, that sense of being in complete balance with your water element. You're flowing, you're rocking, you're just going with the flow, literally going with the flow. And I want to show you so you can see you see that on Facebook? How it is scanning up and down. This is just so phenomenal. I've watched it hundreds of times now, and it is just amazing. This scans all the meridians and the acupuncture points in all of the meridians, and it will give us whichever one comes up. You see it there on, I haven't shared it on the screen there, girls, but I'm just going to show it to you. And so it will go through all 12. Okay, it doesn't do governing and it doesn't do central. And I put that into the group today about the central and the governing meridian. They are known as the extraordinary meridians. There's 8 extraordinaries These are the 12 basics, okay? They are the extraordinary, extra special. Hi, Tamas, nice to see you. Yeah, Rachel, should is a flipping awful word. It really is lethal, lethal in our vocabulary. It should be completely banned. Okay, so we're going to see what comes up. And then we're going to set an intention. Again, I think last night we had energized and, can't remember what that was now, energized and flow or something like that. I think we need to use the word flow because that's what we're doing with water in particular. We are flowing with the water. We're almost done. You can see we're almost done. It's so amazing, this program. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so the top ones actually come up as gallbladder. We had stomach again. Who's got stomach issues? Awesome. And we've got bladder. We had stomach last night as well. Interesting as it comes up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click off and we're just going to do gallbladder meridian, even though, no, do you know what? We're not. We're going to do bladder because it is a water one. And basically what this is saying is that it shows us here, it's got coherence in the blue, and then it's got hyperactivity and hypo. So basically, you're the stomach girl, Geraldine, yeah. It's got too much energy going in, or it hasn't got enough energy through that flow. Okay, so we're going to just, okay, I've got it. We're going to put this one in, and I'm going to tell you in a minute. Now, what it's going to do is just going to scan through all the acupuncture points. You are as well, Anne. Yeah. You see, the stomach is part of the earth. Okay, stomach and spleen. So it's now going down. So this is on the left-hand side. That is the bladder meridian. It goes down the back. It is actually the second longest. And it goes all the way down the spine. It actually starts at the beginning of the eyebrow and goes all the way down the spine, down the center of your bum, down the back of your legs and off the little toe. That's what we're going to be talking about a bit more tomorrow. It's scanning the group, Rachel, because I've set the intention for the group and I've put the profile in as the group. I know this sounds, if you're not used to this, it sounds a little bananas, but just think about, this is about intention. This is about energy. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You know, I work with clients in America. Well, there's quite a few of you here in the States, in Australia, wherever. And right, deepening analysis. Let's have a look. And then it's going to show us which of the 2 acupuncture points on this meridian as to which ones are out of balance. So I'm going to quickly tell you which ones those will be when it finishes scanning, because I have my charts. I've had these charts. I did an acupressure course in Hong Kong a million years ago, and I've still got all my charts, which I absolutely love. So this is the channel, okay, of the bladder meridian. Can you see it starts at the beginning of the eye, comes over the back, and it comes down both sides. It's only showing one side, but it comes down both sides. I'll show it to you on Zoom in a minute, and comes all the way through here. So if you've got any physical pain or any problems through the channel of this, yeah, then you know that the energy through your bladder meridian is a bit stuck. It's not happy. It's just not happy. So we've got, what I put in as the intention here was the flow of chi in all meridians is harmonious. So that's what we're looking for. And the first thing that's come up here is bladder 44. So if anybody has any issues with 44, which is actually, God, I need more than my glasses on. I need a flipping magnifying glass. Right, this is actually right up in underneath the shoulder blade here. If anyone's got any issues there, yeah, on the back, it's basically this point here under the shoulder blades, just about here. Okay, that's a point I used to get some tightness in as well, actually. And it's coming up with a bit of anger and frustration. Anybody feeling any anger and frustration? related to repressed emotions. Who is repressing? Let's face it. Who is not repressing any emotions? Because we're all expressing or repressing emotions on some level. And this we know is very much more about the emotions. Now, we've also got bladder number 4. And bladder number 4 is this point right on the hairline. Anybody got any headaches, tightness on the scalp, just literally on the hairline up here? That might be something. Frustrated, Geraldine? Yeah, that would come into this one. Fear of conflict, that's very, very watery. That's very bladder. Avoiding conflict by sucking up. Oh my God, who does that? How can we be really nice to that person so they like me? You know, this is very water elementy. How can we just, you know, it's, yeah, crazy. Yeah, Rachel, how often do we do that? How can we keep the peace? Who does that? By being nice through gritted teeth. Fear of conflict. I find it hard to come to terms with the truth, reality, and the future. So that's the emotion that's showing up here is frustration. Okay, Geraldine, it's frustration. Okay, what else have we got? Okay, attempting to solve emotional problems rationally. Okay, I've got something else here. So this is a positive one we want to look at. I change bothering events in my mind into a positive solution that is acceptable for all and let it pass in love. Okay. Shoulder for a while, thought it's exercise. There you go, Thomas. It's just amazing. There's a lot of stuff here. Paralyzed will. Fear of conflict. We've had this. Hard to come to the terms with the truth. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to see if I can share this with you. This is a desired state. This is what we've got here. Okay, dodgy left shoulder. This is coming into it as well, Rachel. I attract loving and fulfilling relationships into my life. Okay. Feeling of total powerlessness. Oh my God, I've been in that place so many times. And this is when we try to suck up to people so we don't feel so much out of power. Yeah. Anyone recognize that? If we suck up to people, we feel what we're being nice, they're going to accept us. And yet actually what we're doing is making ourselves feel more powerless than we were. And that actually is giving us a homeopathic remedy, Coffea cruda. All right, I'm going to send these. I'm going to vibrate these for 12 minutes right now, okay? And we might just go slightly over, despite me saying we weren't going to go over. I'm going to keep to it. So this is where you can see on here, this is now vibrating. It's sending the frequencies into your field. So what I'm going to do just for a minute, we're just going to come back into these points. And what I'd like you to do for a minute is just to close your eyes just for a minute. I want you to really feel into the energy of this. And even if anybody's watching this on the replay, even if you're watching it in your own time, that's absolutely fine. But I want you to feel into these words that I'm going to say to you. And I'm just reading through these. So just take a few breaths. Just ground yourself. Just feel your feet. Let's just ground. Feel your feet firmly planted on the earth, as if you've got those roots coming down through the soles of your feet. The foundations that we need are so important so that we feel we can withstand any storms at all, no matter what they are. It's like that storm will just go around us or go over us. And just feel into the energy of your water element, the kidneys, the bladder. This is specifically the bladder. So just think about this channel of the bladder, which starts at the corner of the eye. And I want you to follow this as I talk you through it. It's going to go over the sides of the head, the top of the head, and it comes down the sides of the neck, goes either side of the spine, all the way down to the bum. And then it also has another sort of channel that comes out through the shoulders and comes out further down the back, down the scapula, as you saw, right down to the bum. And then it comes all the way down the backs of your legs, through the back of your knees, all the way down the back of the calves and off the little toe. Breathe it in. Just allow yourself to just feel into a sense of calm. Just relax any of that tension. If you've got tension on the forehead, where we had that point come up on the hairline, or around the scapula, or any other part of this meridian, I want you to take another breath and breathe in and breathe out through those points. And just let them relax. Beautiful statement here. I attract loving and fulfilling relationships into my life. We've got a couple of homeopathic remedies here, which I don't know exactly what those are for. I'll have to look those up. And we want to harmonize this stress pattern of feeling in total powerlessness so that we step into our power. We need the courage, we need the will to help us to do that. Let go of the stress pattern of feeling guilty and not facing the situation that whatever's going on for you. Let go of that feeling of guilt. It's such a low vibration. Guilt is one of the lowest vibrations. So let it go. Let go of feeling ashamed, wherever that comes from. Shame is another. I think shame actually is probably one of the lowest vibration on the map of consciousness. And forgiveness and reconciliation lead to peace and freedom. Remember, if we are in our power with our water element, we are free. The water's free. It goes where it wants. Transform frustration. Step into freedom. Strengthen the water element in the bladder meridian by promoting a sense of calm, depth, and regeneration. And what it's suggesting here is to actually contact a coldness. Don't think there's a problem with that today. Maybe have a cold shower or walk in the cool air to strengthen the kidneys. And another beautiful statement here. I change bothering events in my mind into a positive solution that is acceptable for all and let it pass in love. Bring yourself back into your heart space and allow everything to come through your heart. Let's come back in and just feel as if you can breathe in and breathe out that sense of love. I transform, most important word, blocking energies such as shame, embarrassment, fear, impatience, pressure, horror, panic, sexual blockage, unfulfilled love, longing, repressed feelings, self-pity, and paralyzed will. We are transforming all of those right now. And we're going to promote that beautiful sense of calm, depth, and regeneration. And I've got a mudra here for you guys. Put your fingertips of the thumb, the index finger, and the middle finger together. So the first three fingers, thumb, index finger, middle finger, and you hold out the ring finger and the little finger and just hold that mudra. I absolutely adore mudras. This is a very easy mudra to do. I attract loving and fulfilling relationships into my life. Breathe it in. So take a nice deep breath in from the base of the tummy, in for 5, resting the tongue down on the floor of the mouth. Nice long deep breath out for the count of 10 or as long as you can. And as I do that, I can feel sort of energy buzzing in my hands. If you've never done mudras before, these are new to you, just play with them. I'm an absolute massive fan of mudras. They're just connecting energy points. We have 6 meridians that actually come off the fingers. So this is what we're doing when we're connecting with the mudras. We're just connecting these different points, these different energy points in just different ways. And then just take another deep breath in and just allow yourself to just rub your hands together. Just get that energy going between the palms and zip yourself into this. So you're going to zip up from the pubic bone, just as if you're zipping yourself into your energy field up to the chin. And you're going to do this 3 times. This is the central meridian. So this is what we call the zip ups, zipping you back into your energy field. And just allow your body to move. Come back into the room. Just take a note really of what that feels like now if you had any tension along that meridian. Yeah, Lorna, that's a good idea. You can also have done that. Tap through them. I love tapping, as you well know. So do that as well. But I want you just to be aware of I'll see if I can find it, Lorna. Be aware, it literally is that you're literally just doing index finger, middle finger to the thumb. Okay, these 2 are out. Just be aware. Has that tension in your back sort of shifted a little bit on the shoulder blade? Does it feel a little bit looser around the hairline? Do you feel anything else? Do you feel a little bit calmer? Do you feel something else is shifting? Steffi, how are you?
Fine, wonderful, thank you.
Yeah. This is Maggie. Maggie's still running, by the way. Got a few more minutes. Got 3. I looked at that. It was 333. Magical. Okay. Head feels like it is a warm hat on my head. Lovely. I feel relaxed. Great. Yes, on shifts. Great, Geraldine. Great. More relaxed, Tina. Brilliant. This will run for a few more minutes. To be precise, 3 minutes. Okay. Any other questions about what? Yeah, I'm the yawner as well, Anne. Just looking back to see if I've missed anything. Lorna, that back of the blade. Sleepy. Okay, that's good. I need you to drink loads of water, guys. Honestly, please, please, please. You've got a scar, Jackie. Where's your scar? Right, I'll have to go through those again later. Anything else? Relaxed. Morning. Sleepy Rachel. Yeah, that's not unusual. That's brilliant. When I wear that attention. Yeah, I know. This is the thing. We actually very, very often don't realize how much tension we hold in our body. We hold a lot in our hands, actually, and we hold a lot in our jaw. Lita's good. So this is all about coming into the awareness of how you feel in all these different aspects, okay? Not just the bladder, because remember, when one meridian is out of balance, all the others are going to be out of balance. They can't possibly, flow in together. If there's one that's sort of like, I look at this as a symphony, when you hear a beautiful orchestra playing the most amazing symphony, and every instrument has a pause and it plays in its own part so that we have that beautiful sound. It is the most exquisite thing to hear. And yet, if one instrument, a violin or something, misses a chord, then it's gone. The whole thing's gone. And you can't listen to it because it sounds so horrendous. That's exactly like our energy system, like who we are. We need everything to flow together so that we come to harmony and we can sing and be in that place of divine balance, singing to our own tune as well. God, I'm going to put my glasses back on. Sorry, girls. Watered up before. Good. Well done. Brilliant. Geraldine, they're all, yeah, exactly. They're all, isn't it beautiful? This is why I just love this meridian system, and I love the chakra system. I love just learning about these things because, number one, we know they've been working for thousands of years. They're not going to stop working for us now, but we've just lost touch, literally lost touch with who we are, what points in our body can work for whatever. And you can, tap this point. Another point, while we're finishing this, we've got another 20 seconds. How far are we doing on time? Oh, nearly there. 9 o'clock. I'm going to just give you one extra point, because this is a point that actually is a really beautiful point. And this is on the governing meridian. Eyes are itchy. This point in the middle, the third eye, this is a fantastic point to tap in the mornings. It's called the yin tang point. And it's one of the points, because remember, the governing meridian actually starts coccyx bone over the head and finishes up at the back of the teeth. Now, this point in the middle here it's brilliant for so many different things. It is the pituitary gland. It's the master hormone. So it's getting everything going. It activates so much on this particular meridian. It's also a really good point to tap if you want to do meditation, because what it does is it brings you back into that meditative space quicker. I'm going to give you one more. Quicker than if you don't do it. And I've done this a lot. I've taught a lot of people this one. Now, yeah, absolutely, Lorna. So this point here, any of you know this point here? I've given you this one that's on the governing meridian. This point in between the boobs on the sternum is CV17. CV17, so it's basically the 17th point on the central meridian. This is known as the Sea of Tranquility. This point is such a beautiful point. Now, you can rub this point and it will probably be very sensitive. It opens up the chest. It's actually very good for anybody who's got chest issues or asthma or congestion, any of these things, but it's very good for bringing back into a place of calm, hence the Sea of Tranquility. We're all with the water tonight. You can tap these two together. Particularly if you do some meditation and you want to sort of like sink straight in, tap these first. And it's making me yawn. No, it's shifting something for me. But tap these together. And what I see is when I'm tapping yin tang, I'm actually feel like I'm coming from the inside out. I can see from the inside out. Okay. It's exactly that, Lorna. People, people do so much work on the heart chakra. Let's work on the heart, da, 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 da. It's no good working on the heart chakra and saying, oh, I love myself, I love myself. And yeah, it works for a while. But if your root chakra is out of balance, what's going to happen to the heart? It's not going to hold. It'll just be out of balance, because everything stems from the foundation. It's like building a house on sand. As soon as you've got a storm, it's done. So we need to build on from the base. And that's what we do with the chakras and with the meridians. They're all working together. They're all working with the chakras. So you've got these two guys as well. So yin tan, CV17, tap them together, work them separately, whatever. But they're both two different meridians, okay? Any other questions? Anything else? Because I don't want to take any more of your time up, seeing as it's 3 minutes past the hour now. Anything else? If you've got any questions, put them in the group, because we don't have silly questions. There's no daft questions anywhere, because what you're going to find might be a little bit daft. If you think of it as daft, someone else is probably dying to ask as well. So all questions are good questions. Okay. All right, girls. Well, those vibes are finished, and tomorrow we will be working the kidneys. And we're going to be talking about the kidneys. So you've got another experiential tomorrow morning on the kidney. And you know what I would suggest you do, if you find it difficult, you're welcome, Jackie. If you find it difficult to actually experience what I'm asking you to do on these little tasks, go back and do it again. and do it again and do it again and do it again. Because the more you connect with your physical body, this thing, the easier it becomes to actually know it. And this is my intention for you, is for that you actually start to have a really close connection to every part of your body. Because if you've got pain, it's telling you something. If you've got stiffness or tightness, it's telling you something. And it's probably because we're ignoring the answers to it. Put the glasses on again. This is because I'm on Zoom for too much. Lots of great supporting info. You're most welcome, Lorna. All right, girls, go and enjoy. Make sure you drink some water, and I will see you tomorrow night, and we're going to talk all things kidney. Yeah, it is so effective. It is. I love that. I love mudras. I'm actually going to do a mudra workshop soon. Yeah, exactly. Just keep going back. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Because I tell you something else. Every time you do it, you're going to experience something else, without any doubt. Okay, thank you for the hearts, ladies. You're so sweet. And anyone on the replay got any questions, you let me know as well. All right, sending you loads of love. Bye for now.